going in the wonderland of rope friction. Wonderland, which creates wonders. In our technical field, some fundamental topics like this creating wonders, we are not aware, but let us see what wonders can be created by rope friction. Rope friction is something parallel to the other friction we have studied when we have studied the applications of the belt drive or the, let us say, band brakes or the brake dynamometers. I think whatever concept we have seen that time are applicable here also. So there was some pulley over which the belt was going. On the two sides of the belt, we were having some tight side tension, slack tight side tension, everything, yes. And that was getting used for power transmission, braking systems and that. I am now bringing that theory over here. But I am not going to be using any particular rope. Perhaps I will be doing one simple thing is that I will be taking some rough horizontal cylindrical static object and then here I am trying to see the application of the rope friction with a simple question in my hand, in my mind. That okay, I am taking a rope, perhaps I am going at the top floor or terrace of a building, the rope which is strong, stout, is taken in my hand, one end, and second end is now allowed to go here down below. Down below, maybe to the ground floor, and then I am having a simple question in my mind, what I can suspend there, what I can afford to suspend there, what maximum I can afford to suspend there. Then perhaps the question can be, can I suspend this pen? Very easy. For the time being, take for granted that the rope is having negligible mass, negligible weight. Let us discuss this weight only. This can be hung, weighs very well. So can I hang a screwdriver or any object like that, something like this? Can be very easily done. Can I hang a duster? Very easily done. Can I hang a laptop there? Can be done, no problem. Perhaps I am making my situation a little more complex. Rather than supporting the rope here by use of both the hands, I am thinking that it will provide here my finger. And what pressure or what force the finger can support, that can be my question. Little odd kind of a question. But anyway, let us see here. Laptop, when it was available, I think there was no problem for the laptop. Now I am making the situation more complex. Can I hang here a chair and support the hanging chair by my finger? Now people will have a difference of opinion. Perhaps yes, perhaps no. My finger must be strong enough there to bear the weight of the chair. If chair is the matter under confusion or maybe dispute, then forget about I am hanging off a table or hanging off a motorcycle or hanging off a car or hanging a truck. I think I am going to the impossible versions. But when I see the provisions of this wonderland, I think this can be done. A car can be hung over there. And perhaps my finger can be preventing the car to fall down. See this. I am proposing here a huge car, not a toy car, but a real car to be hung like this, in this condition. Let the mass of the car be easily, let us say, 2000 kilograms. Whose weight will be convertible to 19,620 newtons, which I am rounding up to for mathematical convenience. 20,000 newtons. 20,000 newtons I am planning to support by my finger at this location. So anyway, this 20,000 newton force is coming in this direction. I am trying to provide here a force which is the capability of my finger, and I propose that this can be done. Okay, then I was making a comment that yes, this can be solved by my belt friction. What was the provision of the belt friction? Mathematical provision of the belt friction. I think we used to you depend upon a formula called as T1 upon T2 equal to A raised to mu theta. T1 was the larger tension, T2 was the smaller tension, tight side tension, slack side tension we were calling. E was a mathematical constant. Anyway, T1 was larger, T2 was smaller. Then mu was the frictional coefficient will depend upon the roughness of this cylindrical surface, static surface, and the rope or the belt. And theta was called as the angle of lap. Let us assume some simple things. Let us assume in this experiment mu equal to 0.5. And that theta comes here. the rope comes into contact at this location, loses the contact at the location, I can see theta here equal to 90 degree. And when I put up these values over here, T1, T2 can be solved, but my question is that amongst this 20,000 and P, who is T1? Who is T2? Who can be the numerator? Who can be the denominator? That must be first order fixed term. So for that thing, let us see what the theory says. Theory says, assume the direction of the likely slipping. Likely slipping. What is our job? Our job is to prevent the car to fall down. So if the car carries a tendency of falling down, the likely slipping of the rope will be in this direction. Okay, once that is fixed up, very simple. The force on the forward side will be called as T1. The force on the reverse side will be called as T2. It means that rather than T1 upon T2 equal to e raised to mu theta, my formula is now here 20,000 upon P equal to e raised to 0.5 into theta. I think this formula can fetches me the value of P. And I am again saying this value will be very much capable to be provided by my finger. Let us see. Anyway, if I rearrange the formula, P will be equal to 20,000 divided by e raised to 0.5 into theta. Okay, now I think I am planning to vary the angle theta. And then let us see what will be my results available here. Okay, right now in the figure, that theta appears as equal to 90 degree, but I am not allowed to take 90 degree as a figure over here. I am allowed to take the figure of in terms of radians, which can be pi by 2. So I can put up here theta equal to pi by 2. Then that value of e raised to mu into theta will be equal to e raised to 0.5 into pi by 2. And if I put this formula, if this figure in the final formula, I will be able to solve for what is the expected value of P. I think it is available. This e raised to 0.5 to pi by 2 will be 2.19, and correspondingly the value of P will be equal to 9,132. I agree, this is beyond the capability of my finger, this is beyond the capability of my hand, both the hands, even my finger. I think if I am going to provide this course, I got to put here number of people like tug of war, and they can do the job. But again, I am ready. My finger can do the job. So for that thing, what I am doing is that I am trying to provide little increment in the number of turns. I can see here the number of turns right now available is hardly a quarter turn. Now my proposal: before hanging the car, take the rope, wind it with 1 full turn, and then let the rope come out. Then the available number of turns will be 1 plus 1 upon 4. These are the available turns. And in terms of radians, it will be equal to 5 pi by 2. If I put a 5 pi by 2 over here in the formula, then the corresponding value of e raised to mu theta becomes all of a sudden 50.75. And then I see my force getting suddenly reduced to hardly 394 newtons. I think then the whole series of people I can remove. Only one man can stand over there like me. And 394 newtons I can provide but with my hands, not with my finger. Then my next plan will be to go for the number of turns 2.25. What I am planning? Simple. Before hanging the car, take the rope, give 2 turns, full ones, and let the last turn come out like this. Then correspondingly, the value here of theta will be in terms of radians 9 into pi by 2. This figure certainly shoots up to 1174.5, and now this figure looks to equal to hardly 17.03 newtons. Simple thing I am doing. I am not proposing great technology. I am not asking for a differential pulley block or a winch crab or a complex kind of a gear train, nothing like this. Simple thing. A static object like this, plenty of them are available. If I go to the terrace, I can see the railing, fixed one. It can look like this. I can take a drum and put up over there fixed condition. I can take a wooden block and fix at the particular place. Rough wooden block over which the rope can go. So any simple object like this can be sufficient here. But it must be arranged in static condition. Nothing difficult. Anyway, I am now closely reaching my final destination, which was now further, which will be further smaller. So don't I have a temptation. I say that let me make the simple situation a little more complex. I am calling my grandson, 6 years old. I am saying that, buddy, come over here. Take this rope and put support in the hand. He'll ask me, Grandpa, what is the thing hanging on the other side? He'll try to peek over and watch. Then he'll be seeing there is a car available there and some people are trying to hang the car. He'll try to run away. He'll say that that's not my capability. I say, very effectively can do. But before that thing, what I do? Again, I take the rope, give 3 full windings. The last one available like a quarter is available with me. Now in that case, the kind of amount of your e raised theta will be equal to 13 into pi by 2 in terms of radians. The corresponding value of e raised to mu theta will be certainly now so large, 27,178. And now the required force is hardly 0.73 newtons. My grandson doesn't understand this mathematics. My grandson doesn't understand all this technology. But suppose the rope is given to him, and when he sees confidently, yes, I can support the car, hanging car. Next day he will run to his friends, telling them, yesterday I was supporting the hanging car. Miracle, wonder. And these are the wonders of the rope friction. When our students are told figures like this, they get surprised. They say every time, oh really? We are not knowing this. Thank you.